Come ride the little train that is rolling down the tracks to the junction. Forget about your cares, it is time to relax at the junction. Lots of curves, you bet, and even more when you get to the junction.
Petticoat Junction.
There's a little hotel called the Shady Rest at the junction.
Petticoat Junction.
It is run by Kate. Come and be her guest at the junction.
Petticoat Junction.
And that's Uncle Joe. He's a moving kind of slow at the junction. Petticoat Junction.
Well, Mom, what do you think?
I think it's just the way Betty Jo would want it.
Golly, it's hard to realize she's been away the whole summer, isn't it?
I wonder if she'll be changed.
My Betty Jo changed? Of course not. You know, something's missing.
Are you sure, Mom?
Well, of course I'm not sure. If I was sure, I'd know what it was.
I meant about Betty Jo changing. After all, going halfway around the world is...
Well, it's not the way it once was, dear. The world is a pretty small place, you know, now.
It's pretty big when the farthest you've ever been is Crabwell Corners.
Honey, your turn will come. Doesn't make it only take one of you, and it was Betty Jo's graduation present, and I just remembered. Her baseball uniform. They retired her number.
Well, that's what we mean, Mom. After all this traveling, Betty Jo's just bound to be changed.
Changed how?
Well, she just won't go for things like that. And all these kid things.
You mean 3 months traveling has turned her into a Grandma Moses?
It isn't that, Mom. It's just that... Oh, forget it.
That's right, forget it. Mothers are the last to know.
What is this mothers are the last to know? Up till a few years ago, I was dandling Betty Jo on my knee. Now you want me to turn in my lap?
Here's Steve. I gotta tell him the good news. Do you think Mom's a little overstimulated?
You know the older generation. They can't dance away their excess energies.
Wait a minute, Kate. Don't go through that door.
What in the world?
This is my welcome for Betty Jo. See, when she steps through door A, she triggers photoelectric cell B, which in turn activates jukebox C. What do you think of it?
Well, I'm much too happy to say it right now.
Hold it, Kate. There's a few bugs I haven't worked. A few bugs that hadn't worked out. Oh, darn it. Funiculi funicula.
Oh, Steve.
Hi, Mrs. Bradley.
Hi. Great news. Betty Jo's coming home today.
No kidding, the run's coming back. When did she get in?
Well, that's the point. You see, the commercial plane lands in the city, and then she'll probably kill 2 or 3 hours trying to get a bus to Hooterville, and then she'll have to hop the cannonball, and
And you were wondering if I wouldn't fly up and meet her.
Would you, Steve? She's my baby, and I haven't seen her in such a long time.
Luckily, I just gassed up. And besides, I kind of missed a squirt myself. I haven't had a good grease monkey since she left.
Steve? You don't think she will have changed any, do you?
Change? The runt? She'll be the same when she's 90.
Flight 356 now arriving gate 1. Flight 356 now arriving gate 1.
Betty Joe. I thought you were somebody else. I'm sorry.
Stephen!
Betty Joe?
What are you doing here?
Your mom, she's sort of anxious to see you, so I...
So you came down to meet me. Casual.
How's that?
Never mind. Aren't you going to welcome me home?
Well, sure. Welcome home, Betty Joe.
Oh, I'd like you to meet some friends of mine. This is Peter, and Brad, and Ronnie.
Oh, smashing!
Ronnie's British.
I guessed. Who are these characters?
I told you. Friends. I'm mad, all of them.
Won't argue with you there.
Imagine. They all flew out here with me just on a wild impulse.
This one really had an impulse.
Brad. Came right from a party, but then Brad always does.
Well, fellas, thanks. Betty Joe thanks you, and her mother thanks you, and I thank you. And now, if you'll just...
What Stephen means is that I must say goodbye. I'll be flying the rest of the way in his plane, and there just isn't room for more than one.
Flying where?
Well, I told you, to the Shady Rest, right between Hooterville and Pixley.
You mean there actually are such places?
Yeah, actually. So long. See you around the polo field.